What's good? What's good? Prince Sports here. I figure I shop this up, talk about this a little bit. Who's in more trouble? Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kevin Durant? We're gonna get into that, and dispel some of that because this NBA playoffs is good. You know why? Because it's gonna expose a lot of players. Nobody has no super team to hide behind. Guys gonna have to perform. Guys got to step up, and we're gonna have to see what's what and who's really the best. That's what basketball is all about. It just comes down to that. Now, Giannis may be in trouble. Chris Middleton may miss a game or two. Okay, if he misses a game or two, and the Milwaukee Bucks got to play against the Chicago Bulls, um, uh, yeah, they're gonna need somebody to step up offensively and close out for Giannis. If Giannis can't close, but Giannis got to close. His demons and his flaws will always show up if you don't correct them and you don't address them. Because in playoff basketball, your flaws will always be exposed. And how you overcome those flaws, overcome those things that stand in your way, your obstacles, is a lot on your legacy. It's how we could judge you on your legacy. Now, if Giannis say, hey, you know what? I can't close games. I better go and get a bunch of players. Let me go and get some superstars that could close games out for me more than not. You know, let's say he went out and go and get a Dame Dollar, which would actually be good for his career because um, Dame could actually be the guy that could be the ice water in the vein to close out careers. But I mean, close out the games for him. But at the same time, it will hurt his career because it'd be questionable to whether he's a number one or not if Dame Dollar is closing games out for you. Now, this is a problem with Giannis that he's always had in his career. People closing out games for him. Okay? This is what made people stop and say, hold up, I don't know if this guy's the best player in the world because guys are closing out games for him. You know? Now Kevin Durant, on the other hand, is a complete different obstacle. This is a guy that's been known to win with multiple talent, lots of talent on his team. But now he's not playing with a stacked deck all star. He's going to have to get the job done. They have more than enough obstacles to win this game. See, that's what I like about these playoffs. There's nobody with a big time advantage over somebody. You just have to go out there and perform. All the Nets had to do is hold on to their lead. Kevin Durant could have went off in a couple of quarters. He could have won this game for the Nets in the third quarter, but he didn't. He could have won it in the second quarter. Hell, he could have won it in the first quarter if he went off. All right. He gonna have to show up and play basketball on the biggest stage there is. He let the moment slip by, and that is what could perhaps cost him an NBA championship to a point where Steph Curry may be in the NBA Finals, hosting up a trophy, winning an NBA championship. Meanwhile, guess what? Kevin Durant is out the playoffs. So if I had to take a pick, who's in more trouble right now playing, you got to give it to the Nets, right? They're down 2-0. Now, the Bucks are down 1-1, but if the Bulls take care of home court advantage, it's going to be a long series for the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks now have to steal a game on the road. They got to take a game on the road. If they can't win at in Chicago, the series is over because the Bulls did what they're supposed to do. When the other team has a home court advantage, your job is to steal one game on the road. That's all you need to do. Steal one game on the road. Once you do that, you protect home court, you can win the series. Milwaukee Bucks gave up home court advantage. Now they're in trouble because you got to win on the road, probably without Chris Middleton, right? But those guys, those Milwaukee Bucks players, they've always been underachievers. I mean, Drew Holiday haven't been an all-star since dinosaurs roamed the earth. You know, Brook Lopez is a solid role player. Chris Middleton is an off and on player. Okay, he's not a true all-star. He's an off and on player. He got a three ball. He can shoot the three ball, catch and release. But a lot of role players can shoot the three ball. There's some role players that shoot over 40% from three. That don't mean they're an all-star. Chris Middleton is not a real NBA all-star. He's a solid player. And the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks got a championship with that roster, arguably one of the most weakest NBA championship rosters of all time. You know, you could put Dirk's 2011 NBA championship up there. You could put the Milwaukee Bucks right up there with them. You know, one All Star, one superstar surrounded by a couple good pieces. But Giannis got a chance to win a championship with no other registered All Star on that roster, and he better not blow it. What he's going to have to do is be dominant for 4 quarters because he is playing against a team that's offensively got more talent. DeMar DeRozan, we make jokes on him, but he's better than Chris Middleton. He's better than um, Brooke Lopez. He's better than Drew Holiday. He's better than them guys, just flat out. He was the MVP candidate this season, dropping 50-point balls, hitting clutch shots. Man, DeRozan was Mr. Clutch. You know how many game winners he hit this season? He was on fire with game winners. So if he continues to go off like this, it's going to be a long night. Somebody better try to put the clamps on him. But then you got another all-star. Zach LaVine is an all-star. He was an all-star this season. So he could go off. He could get you buckets. All right? The dude, I'm probably butchering his name. Um, um, Volkovich. Uh, I know he's European. I'm butchering his name, but he was a borderline all star. Okay, he always had potential of being an all star, and if he gets going, you have three offensive threats on the floor for the Chicago Bulls. Three. All right. So Milwaukee Bucks. This was a bad matchup for the Milwaukee Bucks. But it's also a good thing for Giannis's legacy if he could beat this team, because you will knock this team off. You can say, hey, I beat a team with two all-stars on it, you know, borderline all-stars. And if Lonzo Ball was on the floor, Lonzo Ball is a good defender, and he's a good all-around basketball player. Imagine if Lonzo Ball is all around spreading the ball, all right, running fast breaks. The Bucks would be in even more trouble, right? So you're lucky Lonzo Ball is not playing. And the guy that continues to be the X factor in this series is none other than Alex Caruso. He's doing the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. You got to be watching the games to know. There's no stat for taking fouls, shutting guys down defensively, frustrating them. There's no stat for getting underneath somebody's skin. You know, he clearly gets under Giannis Antetokounmpo's skin. Every time he guards Giannis, offensive foul, offensive foul, offensive foul. He could get Giannis in foul trouble. And if he gets Giannis in foul trouble in Chicago without Chris Middleton, the Milwaukee Bucks are in trouble. Flat out. In trouble. Right? Now, see, this is the difference between a Giannis Antetokounmpo and like a LeBron James. LeBron James is a better closer than Giannis Antetokounmpo. I will give him that. Okay, he got a better jump shot than Giannis Antetokounmpo. He got a better mid-range shot than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who you trust more to shoot the ball, Giannis or LeBron? Okay, come playoff time, you got to have a some sort of offensive skill set to get you over the top. And dunking and layups ain't gonna do it, all the time. You've seen how Giannis just attacking the basket. He had this move when he ran towards the basket, got the ball blocked and stolen from him by the DeMar DeRozan. But he was nearly about to take off from the free throw line and dunk. That dominance is something. That athletic ability is something. This guy yapping it on people, but you can't do that all the time and win games. You know, Nets definitely in trouble. Kevin Durant's legacy is going to get a massive hit, Tay, a massive hit, because you know what? This is a team that is more than capable of beating the Boston Celtics. This is not a blowout. This is not an unfair advantage. The Celtics just playing harder. They're playing better defense, and they're doing all the right things to win basketball games. You know, but Giannis and Kevin Durant in trouble. You know, if Giannis can't close games out, he's in trouble. It's always the fourth quarter with him. It's the same thing with LeBron James. You know why LeBron James couldn't get over the hump in his first 7 years or when he finally hit his peak? It's because he couldn't close games out. 2008, they went to 7 games against the Boston Celtics. He couldn't shoot free throws. He couldn't close the game out. It's all about closing the game out. If you're a superstar player, playoff basketball is slow basketball. Okay, it puts you in positions where it's not fast paced and possession by possession counts. What you do in that fourth quarter is the most important quarter because the game is always going to be close for the most part. It's going to be a slow, grinded out game. Are you going to make the right plays? Are you going to execute the right way to get your team over the hump? And offensively, you can't have a lack of a skill set. Yeah, Giannis sucks at free throws. Giannis sucks at shooting, period. And that's the reason why he can't close out games. You know, Kevin Durant getting exposed because he's getting shut down. Defensively, he's getting shut down. He's going one on one. Supposedly one of the greatest scorers of all time is having a hard time scoring on the Boston Celtics. He losing the ball. They're being physical with him. You know, Durantula need to go and eat a Subway sandwich. You need to gain some weight, bro. These boys pushing you around. They're giving you the uh, uh. And you got the nerve to talk about that. You're gonna dominate a more physical era? Man, please. That skinny boy be getting pushed around like a twig. Them rough riders like Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley, they be smacking Kevin Durant around. You know, he be getting pushed around, hit up. I mean, listen, man. All of that skill set, all of them stats don't mean jack shit if you can't close games out and you can't step up when the team needs you the most. That's like being a parent. Yeah, you could be you could be a father and this and that, but if you're not there when the kid needs you for a point in times in their life, you're useless. I mean, at that point, what you gonna do? Get involved in their life when they're 30 years old? The damage is already done. There's only so much you could do. They don't got no classic moments with you no more. All the moments been taken away. You know, that's how it is with basketball. You got to be there for the right moment. It's all about the moment. You know, on paper it looks like Kevin Durant got good numbers, right? If you just look on paper, you say, "Oh man, Kevin Durant had a good game," but you got to watch the game to know that he didn't have a good game because when they needed him most, he disappeared. That's the same thing with LeBron James. Both of these guys, they came up short a lot of times in their career, more times than they should have. That's just the facts. I'm not saying other guys didn't came up short, but I'm counting on, and I could rely on a Michael Jordan more than I could rely on a Kevin Durant. It's as simple as that. You know, Kevin Durant, all skin and bones, boy. He would have to bulk up if he wanted to play old school of hard knocks. Dudes would be bullying him. That'd be bully ball. He'd be getting bully on the block. You know, so I don't know, man. But I told y'all the Chicago Bulls was a problem. Look at the Bulls roster, player from player, with the Milwaukee Bucks, and tell me that the Bulls don't get a better roster. Take Giannis off. Giannis is the only player that's better than every player on the Chicago Bulls. But even he was getting cooked. You know why? Because DeMar DeRozan could attack the basket and he could shoot that mid range. That mid range was on like butter. He was giving it to Giannis in Giannis's mug, mid range. You know, mid range is one of the most effective shots in basketball. If you can knock that shot down consistently, you could score 50 points off a mid range jump shot, killing people. You know, because all you guys want to do is settle for a 3 point shot. It's not always needed. You could be a very effective basketball player by shooting the mid range. And if it's timely and it's efficient, you could get them where it hurts the most. Giannis didn't want no smoke with DeMar DeRozan after DeMar DeRozan was cooking him. DeMar DeRozan cooked him on 2 possessions. Giannis stopped guarding him. He said, "Oh, I don't want him no more. You go guard him." And then he gave Giannis the dagger. He got that and one, attacked the basket on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is a taller defender, but he's getting into foul trouble guarding DeMar DeRozan. Because DeRozan taking him off that dribble, giving him that shimmy, giving him that in your face. I ain't gotta explain it to you. You seen what happened. You seen what DeRozan did, right? You seen that either. You seen that. He gave him that work. I mean, it's as simple as that. Playoffs are very interesting, man. Let the Bulls get past the Bull. Now, if the Bulls get past the Bucks, I don't think they're going to get past any other team, but they could get past the Bucks. They're more capable of beating the Bucks than any other team because of the matchups. You know, Boston Celtics got too much offense and defense for the Chicago Bulls. They can't. Chicago Bulls cannot beat the Boston Celtics, but they have a better chance of beating the Milwaukee Bucks because the Celtics could close games. Celtics know how to close games out. You know, and Marcus Smart getting the Defensive Player of the Year, I don't even know if he really deserves that. But I guess they said we don't know who to give this award to. We got to give it to somebody. We can't give it to Rudy Gobert again because he getting cooked. You know, he definitely don't deserve it. But what do you take away from a guy like Joe Embiid? Joe Embiid literally doing everything in his power that proves that he deserves to be MVP in the postseason and in the regular season. And y'all going to give that award to the Joker. The Joker getting shut down by Draymond Green. Sad. Yeah, because that's the biggest stage, Jay. That's the come show me moment. If you're really that great like you are, you're going to have to show up when it counts most. Playtime is over. This is the postseason. You play against a good team every single night, and you got to prove yourself against a good team every single night. If a team makes the playoffs, they make it for a reason. They're a top contender. You're going to have to compete. And you got to compete against whoever's in front of you. Giannis got to show up. He may be the most dominant player in the game, but if he really want to convince people he's the truly best player in basketball, he got to close games out and do it convincingly, so there won't be no pushback. You know what I'm saying? You had somebody screaming like that? Wow. You know, but it's gonna be real interesting, man. I wanted to talk about that, man, because like you got a lot of these guys that's supposed to be winning, they're coming up short. You know, the Joker out here about to win another MVP, and he playing like dog shit. He getting exposed by a role player. An undersized role player is cooking the Joker. The Joker not, and it's not about wins and losses. Okay, this is what you guys don't understand. This guy is supposed to be a superstar. Number one. This guy is supposed to be an MVP. Number two. That means he's supposed to at least be the first, second, third best player in the series. Okay, regardless if your team win or not, you better leave an impact on the series. Okay, he's not doing that. Steph Curry is playing better than the Joker. Jordan Poole is playing better than the Joker. Draymond Green is playing better than the Joker, even though the stats don't show for it. But if you're watching the games, you will see Draymond Green is having more of an impact on these games than the Joker is. Period. He's shutting the Joker down on defense. And believe it or not, he's scoring in effective moments. What else you want more to say? So the Joker is going to be the MVP. He's about what, the fourth, the fifth best player in the series. You should be he should be averaging 30 plus points in this series. Even if he's losing, he should still be putting up 30 plus points a game with Draymond Green guarding him. That's supposed to be barbecue chicken. But Mr. Slow, fat boy of the rock, slow like molasses, he can't do it. He ain't got the answer, Sway. He ain't got them. And this is a guy y'all trying to say he's a all-time big. Based off what? What has he won to be an all-time big? I call cap on that. I call bullshit with a capital B on that. You know, a lot of people don't want to criticize guys like the Joker and Luca because of their and they bring money in from another country. That's why. But keep that same energy. Stop calling the Joker one of the greatest bigs of all time if you can't back it up. Yeah, LeBron waved the white flag in 2017. Yeah, I made a video on that. He didn't want no parts of KD. And that was an even series. I don't care what nobody say. They had their big three. You had your big three. Let's get it on. They had their role players. You had your role players. If LeBron outplayed Kevin Durant, the Cavs probably win the series because Kyrie was doing what he had to do with Steph. They were going shot for shot. One game Steph would win. The next game Kyrie would win, and they were going back and forth. They was almost canceling each other out. The the only X factor in it was LeBron versus Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant got the edge over LeBron in that particular series. But we ain't letting Kevin Durant off the hook. You don't get no free pass. LeBron should be compared to Jerry West and Walt Chamberlain and Larry Bird, and that's just being nice because at least Larry Bird got more championships than he lost. Larry Bird, what, 3-2? Better than being 2-3 in the NBA Finals. I leave it at that. Magic 5-4, better than being 4-5. Okay, I mean it's as simple as that. You know, if you're gonna lose in the finals, hell, make sure you don't lose a lot. You know, but Jay, man, shit going down, shit going down, brother, and we gonna see what's what. Imagine we move on to the second round with no Giannis, no Kevin Durant, and the way things looking, we may not even see the Phoenix Suns make the second round. If Devin Booker don't return back, they may not make the second round. Now the Suns should be able to beat the Pelicans without Devin Booker, no question. But if they don't, this is by far the most weirdest season because it's hit with a lot of injuries and teams that's supposed to be the top seed can't be a top seed because of injuries. So the seeding don't mean nothing in this year's particular playoffs. You got to throw that all out the window this season, this year only. All right. Because you could be a fifth seed and probably be the top seed. You could be a sixth seed and be the three seed. You know, anything can happen right now because these players get hurt so much. Out of all these players we got in the league, none of them can stay healthy. Why is that? We have more injuries in this generation than any other generation of basketball. Nobody can stay healthy on a basketball court. Everybody's always getting hurt. Because you know why? Nobody's doing real exercises like lifting weights, increasing their muscle mass, increasing their calcium in their bones. They doing fitness exercise, running up and down the court, and that don't help. That just makes you get more prone to injury because you're overworking your hamstring. You're overworking your legs, your knees. You're getting yourself at risk to get hurt more. And some of these guys just ain't physically taking care of their body, you know? Yes. Now, this would be a huge blow to Giannis too, but Giannis could take a blow more than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a more seasoned veteran. He's in his prime. He got to be winning more. So he can't afford to take a lot of L's. But Giannis Antetokounmpo already overachieved already. He already got a championship at a young age. So if he don't win a championship this season, the future is still more promising for him. You know, a little different. They in different situations, but it does still does count on him because he will be a championship contender and he lose. So that still counts on his resume as well. But I'm just saying it'll take less of a hit than what KD would take if he loses. Because if KD loses, the hit would be bigger. You feel me? So that's the major difference. And no Suns. Imagine this: no Bucks, no Suns, no Nets going into the second round. That's crazy. You may get an NBA Finals, something crazy like the Memphis Grizzlies versus uh the Heat or the Celtics or something. Imagine you get an NBA Finals that's the Celtics versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Oh wow! I can tell you one thing: the NBA loses a lot of ratings. There ain't no way people gonna tune in. Casuals gonna tune in to watch the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Boston Celtics. No way in hell. Only the hardcore like myself is gonna be watching. But man, let the Grizzlies make the playoffs. Nobody won't watch that. The Warriors got to make the finals just for the simple fact that for ratings. Okay, people will watch the Warriors in the finals, but nobody's gonna watch the John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies in the finals. But if he do get to the finals at a young age, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, guys in the '90s didn't get hurt this much. At least they actually played. You know, guys were playing 82 games in the '90s. Name me superstars now that play 82 games. Name me one superstar in modern NBA history right now that play 82 games. All 82 games. They all get load management. They take games off. They get hurt when you just tap them like this, glass knees. Something's wrong. These guys ain't taking care of their bodies, bro. Flat out. These guys ain't taking care of their bodies. The fitness ain't there. The fitness ain't there. They ain't taking care of their bodies. Yep. Nets and Lakers were both promised to go to the NBA Finals. They were favorites to go to the NBA Finals. Now the Nets, they came off the super team bandwagon. All right. So it's a little different for them, but we still got to keep that same energy because they still an elite team, even without a super. Right. But the Lakers still had those three guys, and they still had two of those guys still playing on the court that still should at least go into the play-in and go into the playoffs. They didn't even make the play-in. That's a shame within itself. If they had the play-in back in the day, a lot of teams would have loved that. A lot. You know, but you can't tell these fanboys something. They always got this notion that if you talk about LeBron James, you're attacking him because he black, he's a victim. Dog, we just talking basketball. We ain't talking about LeBron James being black. We ain't talking about no media propaganda and the whole world is after LeBron James and why you hating on a black man. Man, come on, man. Miss me with all that. We're just talking basketball. But that's the typical excuse. This is why I don't debate people on LeBron James too much because I know what they're going to say. And I know the the excuses, what the excuses is. And I have the rebuttal for all of that. If I know what you're going to say, I'm going to lose interest in debating you. Why do I need to debate somebody if they're going to say the same thing over and over again? You know, if I answered each and every one of your questions and you come at me with the same nonsense questions, well, LeBron did this. LeBron has higher win shares. No, man, I already answered all that stuff. You know, I don't want to be repetitive answering the same thing over and over again. Kevin Durant fanboy is going to do the same. They're going to blame everybody. It's the coach fault. It's the supporting cast. Kevin Durant don't get enough help. Come on, man. Those role players did their dang today. It's not their fault Kevin Durant didn't close. The role players have a position on that basketball court. It's not their job to bail a superstar out. It's a superstar's job to bail a role player out most of the time. Role players are there just to keep you afloat. Okay? You got to do the rest of the heavy lifting. That's why you get paid more money. You can't ask a role player to take over a game for you. It's not their job. They're not elite. There's levels to this. If you can't do your job right, then pass the ball to somebody else that could do it. And they could be a superstar and not you. Yeah, he is. LeBron James is the most protected player in NBA history, and it's by the media. It's due to the media. LeBron James is a media puppet. He's the face of the media. And rather it's good or bad, these fanboys got the same thing. It's the same excuse. They think the whole world is against LeBron James. They think everybody in the media is there to critique LeBron James. All right? Then you got the other group that says LeBron James gets overpraised by the media. But if we turn on the TV, outside of the normal culprits, LeBron James is getting praised for the most part. We watch all the media platforms. Don't tell me LeBron James is getting criticized all the time, because he's not. He's actually getting praised more than criticized. Because a lot of that praise is trying to compare him to Mike and trying to come up with some lame excuse to why he's better when he's not. Or he has better TS shooting percentage. He shoots better from the left corner. You know LeBron's win shares percentage goes up every single April. So for that reason, that means he's better than Michael Jordan because he could do that. Pointless stats. Pointless stats. All these meaningless stats. You don't talk about the stats that actually are important. You talk about the ones that make no sense. You know, the ones that have no meaning. Giannis surpassed Kareem for playoff points as a Milwaukee Buck. What does that mean? 0. Absolutely nothing. Because it's just a record. Records are made to be broken. Somebody else is going to come along and break that same record. All right? Does that mean they're better than Giannis? They could come along and break that record and don't even win no championships, but still break a record. If you go to work 362 days and I go to work 365 days a year, does that mean I'm better than you? Because I went to work 2 more days than you. 3 more days than you, and I got a better record? Huh? No. It's just a record. Records don't prove anything. Same thing with any format, okay? You could look at a hip-hop artist. If a hip-hop artist sells more than another artist, that doesn't mean he's better. That doesn't mean he's more respected. Just because you sold more units. If you go platinum and I don't, I go gold, maybe people still perceive me as the better artist. I just wasn't as pushed as you was. Same thing. You mean to tell me if a video game sells more than another video game, does that make that video game that sold more better? No. Does that mean that video game that sold more is better than a game that probably is a cult classic and a lot of people like that game, right? You can have a bigger fan base and sell less. You can have a less fan base and sell more. It's a business aspect. I could buy something, a whole world could buy something, fall for the hype. And when we get it, we like, man, buyer's remorse. I regret buying that. I think this thing over here that sold less is much better. But once the sale's in, the sale is in. That doesn't mean it's better. Records don't indicate nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So that's how it goes. Like, you ever notice, this is another reason why I don't debate guys on YouTube. For starters, they don't come and want spoke anyway. You know, and to be honest with you, I think it'll be boring for me to debate them because they're gonna come with the same excuse, same rhetoric over and over again. And it's so easy to have a rebuttal for it because I'm so seasoned at it. I know what you're gonna say before you say it. And it just becomes like blah, blah, blah. I heard it before. And I eat those same situations, you know? Same thing like Zach be doing. He had the same rebuttals for LeBron James that I ethered over and over again. And I don't want to keep repeating the same thing over and over again after I just dismissed and showed you why such and such is the way it is. That doesn't mean I'm trying to change your mind. That doesn't mean I'm trying to make you believe in something. I'm just telling you why I said that. And you look silly by re-bringing up the same topics over and over again when I clearly explained each and every one already. I don't know why people do that. I really don't know why. Do you? You know, I don't. But watch out for them Bulls, man. They're going to be a threat. They're going to be a problem. You always want to skip past other players. That's the problem with the media. You want to leapfrog everything. Everything is losing its value now. Don't you notice that? Being an MVP is losing its value. Winning Defensive Player of the Year is losing its value. Winning, period, is starting to lose a value because nobody cares about it now. Now it's all about narratives and moving goalposts. You could be the GOAT without even earning it now. That's what people are trying to do by discrediting other players that actually put work in to be called great. We're discrediting them. Everything is losing its meaning. You're going to make a joke out of the MVP award and give it to a guy that's on a 6 seed. Really? You're going to give the MVP award to a 6 seed. You don't award losing. Now, if Joker was on a first seed, a second seed, a third seed, okay. Regular season award, you gave him that winning record. More the power to you. But we should not reward people losing. You don't get rewards for losing. If we having a contest, who could sell the most this and this or that, and I clearly sold more, I should get the award, not you. I won, fair and square. It's a shame, but I don't know if it's due to LeBron James, but I know he has something to do with it because it's not him indirectly, it's the media that covers him. We have been discrediting all-time greats just to boost up some of today's basketball players when they don't deserve it. When you say stupid stuff like the Joker should be in the same breath as Hakeem Olajuwon, that's a joke. That's a joke, man. They're not even sitting at the same round table. You got to win first. How did LeBron James leapfrog past Tim Duncan when Tim Duncan beat him twice in the finals? How did he leap past Kobe when Kobe still got more chips than him? Yeah, he got more individual accolades. I give him that. You know, he could always use stats against Kobe Bryant, but those stats don't mean nothing if it didn't provide wins. So how come those stats didn't lead to more championships than Kobe by now? You should at least had tied. Why is LeBron James only having 4 championships out of 10 visits? There's no excuse for that. You underachieved. If Kobe had 10 finals visits, I doubt he'd have 6 losses. He'd probably have 7 wins and 3 losses. Jordan had 10 NBA final visits. He'd probably be like 8-2, 9-1. Who knows? But nevertheless, man, I'm going to end it off by saying this. Who's in more trouble? Without a doubt, it's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has his legacy on the line. This season, your legacy is on the line. And you better not have somebody Ray Allen your legacy and save your legacy. Because your life's on the line. Y'all don't want no parts of me. I'm trying to figure out how y'all started me. 50 Cent. Your life's on the line. And your legacy's on the line, Kevin Durant. You better get the job done. Prince Sports out. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Tay. We out. Peace.